paint it. It's an 8x8, just as a reminder. I can't remember if I said that or not. I just did one coat, Sheila, because we're covering 99% of this up. So I've taken just a bright blue watercolor pencil and kind of sketched on just the shape of a pear, because I'm going to fill in the background with a couple of different colors of blues. So we got some colors on our palette over here. So I'm going to kind of fill in the background with some blues, and then we're going to kind of paint in. We're going to be using palette knives. We're going to be painting in using some green and yellow onto our pear. We're not going to study on the pear too much because we are going to put glass on top of that. Hopefully it'll all be dry in time. We can do it all this night, right? So let me go through what I have here. Anita's White is my white color. Deco Art Indian Turquoise right here. A little bit darker is Americana Calypso. We have a little bit of Black Plum by Americana that I'm going to use for my shadowing. Then for our pear, we have a little bit of Hauser Green and a little bit of Golden Straw. All right, so we're just going to kind of work with these colors. And the first thing we're going to do, hey Gail, hey Susan, the first thing we're going to do is just fill out this background around our pear, and then we'll work on our pear in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to use a fairly, just a regular sized diamond shaped palette knife, and I'm just going to work around using these three colors: the white, the light blue, and the dark blue. So let's just get this party started. We're going to start with the middle color, which is the something, I don't remember. And I am just going to work in some of this blue right up next to my pear. And we'll just fill in a little with this blue. I may need more. We'll add this blue to the sides of our canvas when we're done as well. All right, now I'm going to get just a smidge of that darker blue, and we'll just add it in a couple of places. Maybe we'll add some white. We'll go into that white a little, just so we have a dimensional, multicolor process here. If you've been watching me long, you know I don't like just one flat color. So I'm just going to work around my pear. Hey, Tim Raines. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Jackie. How are you? So I'm going to work around. I already sketched my pear out. So I'm going to kind of just work around him a little. I'm going to move my canvas as I go because it's just easier for me. Just easier. So I love, my favorite two colors together are red and teal. I think they just go hand in hand, and they really look surprisingly good together. So that's why we're gonna do this. We're gonna have a little bit of this red poking through. We'll go into the darker color. I think that was the Desert Turquoise. And I'm using the palette knife instead of a paintbrush because it just gives you more of an abstract look, and so everything's not really painterly and perfect, and that's kind of how I like it. So I'm just going to keep working around the little pear. He has a little dent in the bottom. So how are you guys doing? Bay City, Susan, how are ya? So I'm just gonna keep going. Gigi, we are painting a pear, believe it or not. I know that seems crazy with what's going on, what you can see right there, but I promise it's gonna be a pear. I promise. We're just adding some background color right now. Multiple colors just kind of layered on top of each other. Yay! Judy, did you post those? I don't remember if I've seen them or not. I've been working on my taxes today, and ugh, tell you what, I'm just over it, you know. I filed for an extension for October, so I wouldn't have to deal with it right now, but I should have just done it and moved on, because it's just prolonging the worst. So we're just going to keep going around and around. Let's get right up close to that edge. Now you can see the shape of our little pear showing through. We'll just fill that in with some dark. I'm trying to keep it where you guys can see. All right, let's see. Let's just add some of this dark, the darker blue right on the edge, just to your liking. You know, there's no wrong way to do this part. You just do it how you like. Hey, Bianca, how are you today? Let's get a little bit of white in there. Now, notice I'm just going in all directions. I'm not like trying to, even gonna get a little bit of that blue in there. So I think we're pretty much done with that. I like the amounts of red we still have showing. Not too much, not too little. Just a peak of that red. So I'm gonna rinse off this palette knife. Uh-oh, somebody has the COVID? Oh, thank gosh. Not thank gosh you have the COVID, thank gosh you don't. Okay, so now what I want to do is, before I do my pear, I'm gonna go in here with a little bit of this plum, and I'm gonna just create a little bit of shadow. So we're just gonna assume our light's coming from this way, and so our shadow is gonna be on this side. So if the light's coming here, you want your shadow to be here, okay? So we're just gonna add some of this plum into our blue and create just a little bit of a shadow along the edge of that pear. Don't try to be perfect. I'm all about not being perfect. It gives you some freedom. If you don't try to make everything perfect, it really gives you the freedom to just let it be. Okay, we're gonna be done with that. So now we're going to start, let me rinse that. I like that brush or that knife. We're gonna start with our pear. We're gonna be using these two colors here, a little bit of green, a little bit of yellow. So I'm just gonna kind of do the same thing. It's like coloring in a coloring book and not worrying about being outside the line. So I'm gonna start with this green, and you notice how much thicker this green is. For whatever reason, our other colors are nice and loose and runny, but this green is super thick. It may just be that it's old, but that's okay too. We're just going to use it. We don't worry about those things. So I'm just gonna work around the edge of my pear, letting some of that red show. We'll dip a little into that yellow. Just keep going. Hey, Susan. How are you, love? Just filling in like it's a coloring book. Let's get some of that yellow. Just a little bit, and just adding it in. We're gonna use some green glass and some Solex on this, so not a lot of this, what we're painting now, is gonna show too much. So we're not gonna stress too much about how the pear looks, okay? That is all the painting we're going to do right now. We are going to, let me see if I can, let's see. I'm gonna plug in my little fan and see if we can get this baby dried up real quick while I mix resin. How about that? How about that for efficiency? So I'm gonna stick this in front of the fan, and then we are going to use a little bit of Solex and a little bit of green. And I also have, I got some copper today, and so I scoured through our little bin of copper and found these 2 pieces of glass that are a little oversized. So we're gonna use those for the stem, and we are going to use just one little nip of some green that's in the shape of a leaf for our leaf on our cute little pear. So we're gonna just be super efficient. I'm gonna set that in front of the fan, and we will mix some resin, and I'll chat with you guys while that dries, and we can just keep going. How about that? I'm using a plastic mix and measure cup that I bought from thepaintstore.com, and I am going to mix 2 ounces of resin. 1 ounce of hardener, 1 ounce of resin for 2 ounces total. So let's get those gloves on. Oh, guys, so I have a doctor's appointment on Thursday to see a GP so that I can get an ortho referral because I need a new hip. So I'm gonna have to take that COVID test myself. I'm not looking forward to it, but it is what it is, I suppose. Okay, so I use art resin. It's a 2-part epoxy. If you're new here, it's a 2-part epoxy, so we mix 50-50. You don't weigh it, you have to measure it. So we are going to pour in 1 ounce of the hardener very slowly. If you're new, or if you are new to resin pouring, I would suggest that you pour in 2 cups. So you would pour 1 ounce in 1 cup, 1 ounce in the other, and then mix them together so that you can ensure that you are mixing properly, because that is how you make boo-boos. Getting old is no fun. Mama needs a new hip, so I'm hoping that's gonna happen before the end of the year, because coming up and down these stairs in my studio is killing me. All right, almost, let's see. Perfect. Oh wow, Sandra, you're kidding. Huh. They just about test you anywhere around here. Okay, so Rima, are you here? Anybody? I'm gonna see what the time is. I'm gonna just start mixing. I didn't know. Yes, Rima's here. I saw you, Rima. Are you still here, babe? Can you time me? Yeah, it's hard for me. I hurt my hip about 4 years ago, and first I went to a chiropractor. He could do nothing for me. I went like 10 times, and it just was no relief whatsoever. So then I went to an ortho, and he was convinced I had bursitis. So we went down that road for a while, and he gave me some steroids and all kinds of crap to take. And not 1 minute, and even gave me one of those shots, I can't remember what it's called, you know, where they stick that long needle in your hip. No relief whatsoever from anything I've ever done. So I gave up. Then I didn't have insurance for a while. So now I have insurance again, and they are, you know, I moved to Mississippi from Georgia, so I had to find all new doctors, eye doctor, dentist, everybody. So now that they're taking new patients again here, I am going to see about getting me a new hip, because this one I got is not working for me anymore. Woo! So anyway, Yeah, they're not fun. They're quite painful. Quite painful. So we are mixing the resin. You need to mix this for 3 minutes. So we are cortisone. That's it. Well, there's some other thing I was getting to. I was getting 2 different things at one time. One of them was cortisone. My right hip, which makes it, oh, I will, Judy. It makes it, now my left hip hurts because I favor my left side, and I'm overworking my left hip because my right hip has, you know, been hurting for so long. Wanda, I have tried yoga. I have almost no range of motion in my right leg, and it's really getting hard for me to even walk. And so, you know, I mean, I could go to the grocery store and in 5 minutes I'm ready to sit down. I mean, it's pretty bad. So it's a good thing I don't walk for a living. It's bad, man. Yes, I'm overcompensating. So I'm doing some damage to my left side because my right side hurts so bad. And I don't sleep because of it. I mean, it just hurts 24/7. Not that I want to complain, not complaining. I'm happy that I can still walk. I have 2 legs. Trust you me, not complaining. I'm just ready to do something about it because I'm not that old. I need to be able to walk. Need to be able to walk. Oh, wow. Thank you, Rima. For the COVID, Patty? In and out for the COVID test? I think it really depends on where you are. I mean, I don't know. I imagine they'll be testing, they'll be sticking that thing up my nose before they'll even think about giving me surgery. So that's how it blows. Let's see if we're dry. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. It's dry. Time. Thank you, Rima. We're going to let this sit for a few seconds while we play with this again. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to use, I'm going to take these gloves off because I cannot do 3 minutes, Diane. Exactly, Claire. My mom had a hip replacement several years ago, and it was a life changer for her. Okay, so I am going to add a little bit of, that was still wet right there, but it'll get dry. A little bit of the Solex. This is Solex. Yeah, I'm 57, and I just feel like that's too young to be in as much pain as I'm in. It's just crazy. I'm actually going to move this to this side. We'll do mostly Solex. Oh, thank goodness, Patty. My son, who is a nurse practitioner, said that they weren't doing that test anymore. So I'm glad to know that they moved past that. That's just crazy pants, how they go up all in your brain. It seems to me, oh, it's wet right here too. Seems to me if it's that contagious that, you know, it wouldn't take going up in your brain to find out if you had a germ or not. Okay, so this is the Solex on the right side. So we are going to add a little bit of the green classic to the left side, kind of as, you know, actually we did that a little backwards if the light's coming from this way, but we don't care. We're just going to keep moving. Oh, I hear you. I'm falling apart too. Falling apart. So this is the green classic. Oops, I just spilled it. So we are going to fill in. See, now you see why we didn't worry too much about, you know, the color of that pear. Get in there. Because most of it is going to be covered up anyway. Got glass everywhere now. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm not too worried about recovery. I'm pretty tough, pretty healthy. I was really sick at the beginning of the year, but I'm pretty sure I had, you know, COVID before we all knew what COVID was, because I was, if you know, anybody who follows me, has followed me for a long time, you know how sick I was at the beginning of the year, and I am not really ever sick. So that about did me in. But I'm all better now. So I'm just kind of filling in. I see a hair. And now I'm gonna take our cute little, getting old is not for sissies. I'm gonna take our cute little glass. This is the copper, just a big old piece of copper I found. Let me move that out of the way. We're gonna stick that right in there. And then we have this piece, I'm gonna stick right there. And then we have this little snippet for our leaf. So let me see if I can make this look a little better. So what do you think? How does that look? That's not doing it for me. Hang on. Let me see. Maybe that's better. Look at that. Is that not cute or what? So we are now going to add our resin. So cute and so simple. Very abstract background. Love it. So let's add some resin. So I'm going to start with my glass, and I'm going to just start down at the bottom adding resin to our glass bits. So we have 2 ounces. Hopefully that's enough. So for some reason, I've lost my mixing mojo when it comes to, I think it's because I haven't done a lot of big pieces. Just kind of got out of practice for a little while, but I feel certain this is plenty. This is gonna be super cute. Oh, Judy, you're so cute. So we'll cover all that glass. Now we'll come up here and cover the little stem. Should we add another leaf? Let's take some votes. I'm thinking maybe another leaf. I don't know. Let me find a different one. What do you think? I kind of like it. I think it needed a little something extra. So we can move it. Y'all tell me what you think. We can move it if we decide we don't like it or if it needs to go somewhere else. You can take it off. There's a lot of bubbles in my resin. Lots. So let's smear some around. No, another leaf? No? Are we talking about leaf? You can't just say no. I don't know what you're talking about, Remus. No leaf. Okay. All right. It's gone. No leaf. Okay, guys. Y'all are killing me. Leaf or no leaf? You have to say yes leaf or no leaf. Same side, maybe. I don't know if there's room on the same side. We'll move it around. I'm going to get this resin on, and then we'll move it around a little bit and see where we like it. So I'm just using, like down here. Yeah, we'll move it around a little bit. I'm going to leave it right here for now. And then I want to get this resin on here. Oops. So Rima, have you talked to G? Have you talked to Gina? I haven't seen her around in a bit, and I know she just had a loss in her family, so I'm wondering if she's okay. Okay, so let's decide. here. I kind of like it there. Maybe this one needs to go like this too. What do you think? What do you say about that? I think that's it right there. Give me some thumbs up if you likes it. I like it. Me like. All right, let me look around, make sure everything's covered. I still have just a smidge, not enough to worry about, but that took about 1.5 ounces. Thank you. That took about 1.5 ounces to cover. And this is a 10 by 10. No, this is an 8 by 8. My apologies if I said 10 by 10 earlier, but this is an 8 by 8. So let me take these glovies off. This one has a little resin on it. I'm gonna use my little wipey to clean it, so. Oh, did she? Bless her heart. I need to send her a little email or something. Bless her heart. I understand how that is. Isn't that great? And I also got a little bit, I'm gonna use my blocks. I'm gonna go ahead and put my blocks under before I torch, because I had a little bit of a drippy. So we're gonna put our blocks underneath so that if anything drips down, it'll catch. It won't glue our piece to the counter or to the table. Now I'm making sure I don't have any resin on the sides of my piece because I haven't painted that yet. So what I'll do when the resin is dry is come back and paint it to match the top. Okay, so let's torch. We're gonna hit it with some fire so we can get those bubbles out, because that one had a good bit of bubbles for some reason. So I'm using a propane torch, Diane, but you can use a heat gun or even a blow dryer on low air, high heat. But just remember to use it properly, because I got a little skippy right there, because you do not want the flame of the torch to actually touch your resin, because it'll burn it. What pops all those bubbles is the heat from the fire, and you see how my hand is moving at all times? You want to keep that hand moving too. Judy, you do not. I only paint the sides if my front is dark. Now, if I wanted to, what I could do is come back and like touch up the sides with white, but I'll probably just come back and use this light blue and go all the way around the outside edge to just kind of make it float.